Thank you for joining us. We will get started in a few minutes. We do have language interpretation available for those who need it tonight. We have it in Spanish, Arabic, and Amharic. If you need language interpretation, please click the globe at the bottom right of your screen. If you are using a cell phone or an iPad to access this meeting, please go ahead and click the three dots menu, and you should find language interpretation there.
Buenas noches, bienvenidos todo el mundo. Tenemos intérpretes en diferentes idiomas para esta reunión y tenemos intérpretes en español, árabe y amárico. Y si quieren interpretación, se pueden poner en el canal de interpretación. Si están en una computadora, por favor, clique en el globo terráqueo que está en la parte de abajo de la se va a aparecer en la parte de abajo de la pantalla en unos momentos. Y entonces de ahí seleccionan español si quieren español, árabe si quieren árabe. Y si están utilizando un teléfono, por favor, hay tres punticos en su pantalla, seleccionan ahí, van a la parte de abajo del menú y seleccionan interpretación, y si quieren español, seleccionan español.
اهلا بكم، مساء الخير. احنا في جوله جديده عن طريق مدارس ACPS، والنهارده ان شاء الله عندنا التقاء وتحيه. واللي عايز ترجمه اللغه العربيه لو عن طريق الكمبيوتر بتدخلوا في اسفل الشاشه على الكره الارضيه اللي موجوده على اسفل الشاشه وبتدوسوا عليها وبتختاروا اللغه العربيه. لو عن طريق لو انتوا جايين النهارده عن طريق التليفون او الايباد، بتبصوا على الثلاث نقاط اللي على اسفل الشاشه برضو في التليفون، وبتختاروا ان انتوا عايزين ترجمه وبتختاروا طبعا اللغه العربيه. اهلا.
ሄሎ ጤና ይስጥልኝ፣ እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ። ዛሬ በተለያዩ ቋንቋዎች ይሄ ፕሮግራም ይተላለፋል። በሚተላለፍበት ጊዜ የምትናገሩትን ወይም የምትሰሙትን ቋንቋ በመምረጥ መግባት ትችላላችሁ። የስፓኒሽ፣ የአረቢክ፣ አማርኛና የአማርኛ ቋንቋዎች አሉ። ከዛ ውስጥ የአማርኛን በመምረጥ መስማት ትችላላችሁ ወይም መከታተል ትችላላችሁ ማለት ነው። ከታች የግሎብ ወይም የሉል ምልክት ስታገኙ ከታች በኩል ይታያል። እሱን በመንካት መግባት ትችላላችሁ። በእንትን ከሆነ ደግሞ በአይፓድ ወይም በሌላ ነገር ከሆነ ደግሞ በአይፎን ከሆነ ከቴሌፎን ከሆነ ደግሞ 3 ዶቶች አሉ። እነሱን በመንካት ማግኘት ትችላላችሁ።
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Porter, and I am the search consultant for the position of principal at James K. Polk Elementary School. We welcome you this evening to our first of 2 meet and greet sessions. We have our first candidate finalist for the position of principal, who we will introduce momentarily. Let me give a little bit of instruction as to how this evening will go. Basically, the candidate will provide a few minutes to introduce themselves to those in attendance this evening. At the same time, at the conclusion of the introduction, we are asking, or as they are speaking, you are welcome to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen to ask questions of the candidate. The candidates will respond to those questions individually. We're doing the first session with Carla Carter, current assistant principal at James K. Polk. The second section will follow at 7:30 with Catherine Green, the second candidate for this position. Once the questions are asked in the Q&A function, the candidates will be responsible for reading the question and responding to the question. We will try to get to as many questions as we can this evening. As we get close to the end of this 45-minute opportunity, I will break back in to let the candidate know that we have 1 or 2 more questions that can be answered. And then I will provide some follow-up information for those in attendance this evening. Additionally, please note that from time to time, you will see a link on your screen as there is a survey that is available for anyone who wishes to respond to it. The survey will be posted for approximately one more week as this evening's event will be recorded and closed captioned and then also posted for those who wish to view it again or who were unable to join this evening. The survey, which aligns with this evening's event, asks for any thoughts you may have. It's kind of general. Any thoughts you may have, any preferences you may have regarding the candidates. This information will be compiled once the survey closes. There's the link posted now. Once the survey closes, I will compile this information and forward it to the superintendent of schools. Each of these candidates will follow this evening's event with an individual interview with the superintendent of schools and 2 other senior staff members. They will have all feedback provided from the survey when they meet with the candidates. With that said, I would like to introduce our first candidate this evening. Some of you may know her. Her name is Carla Carter. She is the current assistant, one of the current assistant principals at James K. Polk Elementary School. And I'm going to turn it over to Carla for her opening statement, as well as to begin the question and answer session of this evening's event. Carla.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Good evening, parents and other distinguished members of the ACPS community. As Mr. Porter indicated, my name is Carla Carter, and I am one of the assistant principals at James K. Polk Elementary School. I've had the distinct honor of being in this position for the past 12 years. And as I shared with the staff this afternoon, I am also the most experienced assistant principal in terms of years of experience in Alexandria in the district. And I'm very proud of that. Before I elaborate on my professional experiences, I would like to take this opportunity to share a little bit of information about kind of my life before becoming an assistant principal in the district. I am first and foremost the proud mother of Jordan and Sydney Carter. I am also married to Mr. Ernest Carter, and we have been married for over 25 years. I am originally from North Carolina. Both of my parents, unfortunately, are deceased, but my mother was an educator and she taught for over 35 years. As I said, I am from North Carolina. I grew up in a very small town called Madison, which is about 25 minutes north of Greensboro. I attended college at the University of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in Greensboro, and it was there where I met my husband, Ernest. He was given an opportunity to take a position, a very good position with Verizon in the summer of 1996. And during that time, I was not forced, but needed to look for a position. And I came up that summer with him. We explored the area. I went down to Beauregard at the time when ACPS was housed there and applied for a position. And Mrs. Blanche Maness, retired principal and former school board member, and Mr. Michael Brown, at the time he was the assistant principal, hired me for a teaching position at Jefferson Houston Elementary School. I served as an elementary teacher there for 7 years. I taught grades 3, 4, and 5, and absolutely loved it. I was able to connect with my students. I established relationships with my students, and at that time is when I learned the importance of my power and just how much I had regarding my students. It was there also that I started to explore the idea of becoming an administrator. One of my former colleagues, Mrs. Cheryl Smith, suggested that I attend an information session about an administrator cohort that started through George Mason. 2 years later, I earned my administrative endorsement, and then I became a performance evaluation specialist. And that job really helped shape some of the practices that I use in my position as an assistant principal. As a performance evaluation specialist, I had the opportunity to work at William Ramsey, John Adams, Douglas MacArthur, Jefferson Houston, George Mason, and James K. Polk. And in doing that, it gave me an opportunity to collaborate with principals and assistant principals at each of those schools. And in that collaboration, I was able to see just how the leadership style of different schools, how it impacts the entire school community. I started out explaining or sharing with you that I grew up in North Carolina, or that I was raised in North Carolina. And I did so in a very close-knit family. And within that family is where I established some of the values that are near and dear to my heart that carry over into the workplace and really are at the fabric of who I am. Respecting others, treating others the way you want to be treated, working hard, always striving for excellence. And it's crucial that I do that in the workplace as well. I mentioned the working hard, I mentioned the striving for excellence, and I mentioned how these things aligned with what we do at Polk. As I said at the beginning, I have been in this position for 12 years. And during that time, I had the privilege and honor of working with Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Harrison to create, and this amazing staff, to create a school climate like no other. We are a family-oriented school, and we're dedicated to empowering all students to thrive in this diverse and ever-changing society. At this time, I will begin to take some of the questions from parents. And I want to check in with my interpreters just to make sure I'm not speaking too quickly. Okay. Question number 1, if there's a disagreement between a parent and a teacher, how would you approach resolving it? We at Polk, we value and recognize the importance of the teacher-parent partnership and just making sure that we are all on the same page as much as possible. If there's a disagreement between a parent and a teacher, it's important for me to speak with each of them initially, individually, to try to get an understanding of the source of the disagreement. And then, if possible, upon speaking with them individually, it would be important for me to bring them together to see if we can get on the same page and find a mutual compromise, or if there was a disagreement or a breakdown in communication or misunderstanding, just providing a space for each person to express his or her opinion, and then we would kind of get on the same page there. The next question, are you familiar with the simple view of reading and/or Scardor's reading rope? If so, could these be used to wait a minute, this is not coming through. If so, could these be used to drive staff development to improve literacy outcomes of James K. Polk? If you're unfamiliar with these, would you be interested in learning more? I would certainly be interested in learning more. I am not familiar with simple view of reading and the reading rope approach, but I would certainly be interested in learning more about it. There is ample research that shows current balanced literacy reading curriculum at Polk isn't teaching our kids to read, and our test scores reflect this. School districts across the country are moving away from this curriculum and to a structured, explicit literacy curriculum. What are your thoughts on the balanced literacy curriculum? My thoughts regarding the balanced literacy curriculum are it's very important. At Polk, we have 35% of our students are English language learners. And it's very important that when we provide instruction for our students that we are explicit in all aspects of that. In terms of if we're working on vocabulary instruction, if we're working on reading comprehension, it's very important that we are explicit in all that we do. So it's essential that when we provide this instruction, that it is at a level that is instructional for the student, that the instructional materials that are used are adequate and appropriate for the learner. So that would be my thoughts regarding that. Could you speak to your comfort level with having people, events on campus assume all CSC guidelines are met? That having people and events on campus will be a district level decision. That is a decision that we will not be able to make at the building level. Thus far, since March 13th, when the pandemic started, we have used a systematic alignment approach to all of the decision making. So when we're looking at having people on campus and events at the school level, that decision will not be a decision that will come from me. With that said, when given the directive that it's okay and the CDC guidelines specify that it's okay, we've consulted with Alexandria Health Department, the school district, then I think by that time, we'll be in a better place to entertain that. If a child is acting out behaviorally, at what point do you involve their parents? If a child is acting out behaviorally, that depends. And when we look at needs of students and behaviors, we have to look at that on a case-by-case basis. We keep parents in the loop regarding academics, regarding behavioral concerns, regarding social concerns. So in terms of at what point we would involve parents, parents would be involved on the onset. When teachers recognize that there is an issue that warrants the need of conversations with parents and with administration, parents are part of that process. What is your vision for our school? My vision for our school is to create a school, or to not create, but to continue. One of the best things about Polk is the school climate and the way that teachers and parents work together to support the needs of students. So I would love to see us to continue with that. I would love for us to have a school where students are supported and given what they need to be the best that they can be. And when I say need, I mean resources, learning opportunities, if that means additional resources, additional opportunities, just to promote that growth. Tell us about a time when you had to make a decision that you knew would be unpopular. How did you handle the pushback? An unpopular decision? Oftentimes when I am one of my many roles at Polk is I am the special education child study designee. And in child study, SST, I do all of that. And oftentimes I meet with parents and sometimes even with teachers who want us to go a certain route regarding a student's needs, regarding concerns that they may have, whether it's academically or socially or a combination of both. And sometimes when we look at the information regarding that student's performance or our beliefs, and when I say our team, the child study team, and the parents' beliefs may not necessarily be aligned. And the way that I handled the pushback is simply explain that in a school setting, there's a certain criteria that we use when we make decisions regarding whether we're going to move forward with testing or not. And in a private setting, that might be different. And typically when I've shared what works, what I think the difference is in the two policies, the parent was able to move forward and understand. The next question, good evening. How do you feel about getting our Polk Owls back to in-person full-time now that things with the pandemic seem to be getting better? Vaccines, CDC guidelines, how our amazing teachers are feel. And we love you, Carla Carter, and you've got our vote for our new JKP principal. This is my favorite question of the evening by far. Thank you for your many years of service to ACPS and your students. You have earned and deserve this next step. I will take that. Thank you. In terms of how do I feel about Polk Owls getting back to in-person, I have been in the teaching business now in the education business for 24 years now. And being away in the last year has given me a new, I don't want to say a new perspective, but has energized my goals and needs in terms of supporting students and supporting families. I felt great when that first bus drove up about a week ago, but I am cautiously optimistic, and I'm pleased with the way that we're bringing students back into the schools. So I'm ready for our Polk Owls to come back, but I want to make sure that we do so and maintain safety as we do. What do you see as the biggest area for improvement or opportunity for growth at Polk? One of the biggest areas I think for improvement and opportunity for growth for us is, and I mentioned this earlier with the meeting with the staff, is the kindergarten team, and they've been doing this for a couple of years now. They host it's like a series of kindergarten workshops where they meet with parents and they teach families that need the additional support how to navigate kindergarten, how to advocate for students. They share with them available resources within the school. We do an overview at back to school night. We do it every year where the SST team offers and makes suggestions regarding what they can do to support families. But I think one of the things that we need to do at the division for each grade level is to follow that same model for first grade, second, third, fourth, and fifth as kindergarten. Just teaching more families how to explore the system and use the resources that are available. So I would say the biggest area for improvement would be just being more available for parents that need the additional support, parents and students. How do you feel about walk to school day dance parties? I love walk to school day. That's one of the things that we've done at Polk now for years. One of our former parents, and I can't think of her name right now, I can see her face, and her two sons was instrumental in ensuring that we had our walk to school day annually. With the proper guidelines and social distancing and all of that. And hopefully soon we'll be able to get back to the walk to school day dance parties. So, serious question. Miss Johnson was a pretty good sport about school spirit. How are your dance moves for walk to school day? Okay, so Miss Johnson is a tough act to follow. And when you say that the dance moves, I don't know, I'm very good at Zumba, so I feel like I can handle the dance moves for walk to school day.
And Ms. Carter, I'd like to ask a question while we wait to see if there are other questions from the parents and community members. And please, folks, use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen if you have additional questions for Carla Carter. But one of the questions that was asked during one of the panel interviews that you participated in was, school facilities and grounds issues are ongoing concerns in most school buildings, particularly older ones like Polk. What is the most difficult facilities management issue you have faced in your career? How did you approach it? And what was the resulting outcome?
I remember that question in the interview. One of the things that I had to get accustomed to as an administrator early on, although we're in the same district, there are a couple of different divisions within ACPS that we don't have control of. I mean, when things happen in the building and we can, repair them, then that's one thing. But when we have to rely on facilities or transportation, that takes collaboration in order for us to do that. In terms of issues that have been the most challenging, by far, I would have to say the situation with the heating and air system in the third grade wing. We had ongoing conversations with facilities in their efforts to try to get the situation resolved. And again, it's out of our control. It was out of our control. And the only thing that we could do was to keep facilities abreast of the progress and changes that we saw, and then they were able to come and continue to provide support as needed as well. Okay, there's another question. After 12 years at JKP, what are your regrets and how do they bear on your future plans or approaches? To be honest with you, I don't know that I have regrets. As a result of my time here, there's certainly, I've learned a tremendous, um, amount about how to be an administrator, but I don't typically have regrets. No, I don't have any regrets. Okay, the next question, building on the dance moves, what are some ideas that you have to make school fun, engaging for the kids? One of the, I am a fitness sports junkie. One of the ways that I've gotten through this pandemic, aside from Amazon and shopping and all of that, is exercising quite a bit and walking. I would like to some kind of way incorporate, and it also kind of helps me mentally as well. I would also like to incorporate some kind of fitness component for our students. When we return, definitely I plan to collaborate with the PE department to see what we can do to engage our students more and to encourage them to begin incorporating that into a healthy lifestyle. The teachers often said that they have the best admin team in ACPS. How would you keep that culture of support for our teachers? That question right there is very, it is extremely important to me. Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Hairston and I say Mrs. Hairston, Mrs. Tillman has joined us now, but I say Mrs. Hairston because we were together for so long. We were together for so long, and Mrs. Tillman, Mrs. Johnson, and I haven't been in the building together yet with kids. So that's why I say Mrs. Hairston and Mrs. Johnson. We keep that culture of support for our teachers by just being present, by having that open door. My teachers know that our teachers know that they have our support. They say that we are the best admin team. They by far are the best staff in the building. We agree sometimes. We debate sometimes, but at the end of the day, there's a mutual respect that we all have for each other, and we know that we're working towards a common good and a common goal, and that's our students. So keeping that culture of support for our teachers is crucial. It's crucial to not just the support for the teachers, but the support for our kids as well. How do you feel your familiarity with the Polk community affects your ability to lead our children and their families? I recently read an article regarding principals and how long it takes a new principal to get a handle or a sense of the staff. And of course, it varies depending on situations. how large the staff is, the needs of the staff, and so on. When I first started at Polk, there was approximately 450 students, and we had about 65 to 70 staff members. We have almost doubled the number of students, and right now we're almost at about 120 staff members. I personally think that given the fact that I know this community and I know this staff, I know what the staff is capable of, I know families here, I am 3 years ahead of anybody that walks in the door just because I know what I'm working with and who I'm working with.
And I'm going to jump in with another question while we wait to see if parents and community members have questions. The question relates to parents and the broader community. And the question is, parents in the broader community play a vital role in the continued growth and success of any school. What will you do to engage all stakeholders and to what end?
One of the things, I think in all situations, we can find some kind of good or some things that, some takeaways that we can use for a later time. I'm sure that by now we've just about all zoomed out, but I honestly believe that we will be, in the future, we will be able to use this tool to help us reach parents that pre-pandemic, we were not able to reach. For example, I can remember like for PTA meetings that oftentimes parents would not come because of, although we offer childcare, some families didn't feel comfortable with that. By doing meetings using Zoom, parents can attend PTA meetings and cook dinner, take care of their families, and without leaving their home. So I think we can engage families by incorporating Zoom and giving parents options to attend at their leisure.
Thank you.
There's another question. What did you learn most from Principal Johnson? What do you want to implement? What do you want to improve? Wow, what did I learn most from Principal Johnson? That's a lot. Pre-Ann this school has been successful because of the way, not because she attended all of these great professional development sessions, and I'm sure she has. But she got the results that she got here because of the way she treated people, because of the relationships that she established. She makes everyone who walks in the door feel valued, important, and respected. And earlier there was a question regarding the culture, and that's really what that culture is. That's what I learned. Like, she could get us to do whatever. I can remember, I don't remember the reason why it happened, but we had a day where the dumpsters, the trash was coming out of the dumpsters and blowing on the lawn of the school. And we looked out there, and I was like, okay, we're gonna have to do something with with the trash, because it was everywhere. And Pre-Ann said, I'm gonna get on the PA and get everyone to come out and help, get the trash. Now, Penny and I looked at each other because we knew we had to put on our sneakers and get out there and get that trash. But I was like, okay, there is no way that teachers are going to go out and pick up the trash. Sure enough, she made the announcement, and this staff, those who were not with students, walked outside and picked up trash on the lawn. And they did that because of the pride that they have for this school and the respect that they have for her. So I would say the most important thing would be the way she treats people. What do you want to implement? What I just said, that treating people with respect and making them see that they are valued and part of this Polk community is important. What do you want to improve? I would say probably just streamlining how we communicate. Streamlining when we have messages, finding ways to summarize emails as opposed to receiving teachers being in a position where they have to receive multiple messages from many sources. So I would say just kind of streamlining the communication. Okay, would you support an increase in outdoor movement, exploration, learning opportunities to be regularly incorporated into daily or weekly student class routines for all grade levels, regardless of whether or not COVID-19 is a safety factor in those routines at that time? Excuse me. This, in terms of increasing opportunities and learning opportunities and movement exploration at all grade levels, this is one of those areas that would be a district mandate, because when we're looking at increasing exploration and outdoor movement, because it almost sounds as if this question is asking for increased recess time despite COVID-19. And we have certain guidelines that we have to follow that are state, district, and then at the school level. So that would be one of those guidelines.
And Ms. Carter, this is going to be our last question we'll be able to take this evening, time-wise, so
Okay.
please.
This is a great way to end. What do you feel makes Polk special? The school culture is what makes Polk special. The commitment from this staff makes Polk special. The administrative team makes Polk special. The recognizing the importance of it takes all of us to make Polk special. We have an amazing PTA, parent support. Our parents trust us. That's what makes Polk special.
Ms. Carter, with that, we thank you for your responses this evening. And parents, community members, we hope that you've received some answers and gotten to know Carla Carter a little bit better. We will be following this session with another session, but please be reminded, it's posted right now. There is a survey which we ask that you complete with any thoughts that you may have, so that I might gather those thoughts together for the next level, which is an interview with the superintendent and a couple of senior level staff members, senior team members. Again, we thank you all for this evening. We appreciate your attendance. We appreciate your questions. And Ms. Carter, we appreciate your time, your responses, and certainly your dedication to the school division and your interest in this position. With that, what we will be doing is we will be closing this session completely. If you would like to join us for the next candidate, that will begin in 15 minutes, give or take. And we ask that you sign back in. We need to close this one out in order to reopen and prepare for the next session. So thank you all. Have a great evening. More information to come, of course, as this process continues. Thank you all again.
Interpreters, please remember to sign back in with the same link. Thank you.